This is the OTB Television Network, a service of Capital District Off-Track Betting.
Good morning and welcome to the Handicappers Report for this snowy Thursday morning. I had some flurries on the way in, and then about Schenectady, it really started to come down a little bit. Jeff said he had a little bit of a drive in as well. Seth Merrill, Jeff Carl in here. Good morning, Jeff.
Good morning, Seth. Yeah, it was a tough sledding. No pun intended.
From spring had arrived. What's going on?
No. Mother Nature knows it's only mid-January. But, we had an inch or two of snow. I mean, there wasn't any accidents on the Northway, just really a slow go. It took me about an hour to get here.
Yeah, I left a little early because it was, like I said, there were flurries over in Amsterdam. And yet, the commuting traffic as you get close to Albany gets a little crazy. And you get a little bit of weather you don't know, and I didn't run into any problems today. But as I say, about Schenectady, it really started to come down a little bit. But I heard the forecast on the radio on the way in. They say by the afternoon the sun's supposed to be back out. So
yeah, and they're fine down at Aqueduct. I looked at their website. They're listed as good right now. It said may change. I like that in quotes. May change. We don't know which way it's going to go. Could it go sloppy? It could go fast. But it just says may change.
And we'll get to live vicariously as well with Gulfstream, and I'll be taking a look at them this afternoon as well. Before we get into the handicapping, I mentioned yesterday on either Handicappers Report or Racing Across America or both, going back to when I was in here on the Handicappers Report on Tuesday, I had taken a look, obviously, at the Turf Paradise card, and their race number 3 was one that I had called a play of the day, and I wound up running first and third in the exactas. So I will admit I had some skin in the game, but not to the point where I couldn't be objective. And we're going to see something in a minute, but before we do that, before the guys in the control room roll it, I'll just set it up. And I wanted to show it here, and we'll get Jeff's opinion as well. I said yesterday I was going to take a little shot at jockey Galen Mitchell, who's going to wind up running third in this race. And as I say, I ran first and third with my exacta play of the day, and I think the jockey kind of lost second. And we'll watch the video in just a moment, but again, I'll set it up first. And here we see, it's the one in the middle. And you can see as they get close to the wire, he just kind of gives up. And we may be too far away from the screen to see it well. But again, you'll see it. He's riding, he's using the whip, but when he sees he's not going to get first place, he just kind of gives up, stands up, boom, and loses second as well. And I'm taking a little shot at the jockey, but it's even more than a shot at the jockey. I wish there was this daily stewards report so we knew if the stewards did something here. And as I say, if you're sitting in front of the computer screen and really get a good look at it, you can see about 20 yards from the wire, he gives up and stands up actually, starts to stand up. And then the horse on the inside nips him for second. So you would like to know, and Jeff, from what I understand, there are situations like this where we, the public, don't know, but the stewards may have called this guy in and said, okay, make sure that doesn't happen, yada, yada, yada. Or even at a smaller track like that, maybe he gets days, and I wonder, how do we find out? And I've said for years now, I'd love to see a comprehensive stewards report on every racetrack's website. And I tip my cap to the racetracks that have put stewards reports up, but a lot of times it's just the black and white. We took a look at that race. There was an inquiry. We took a look, and there was no violation of the rules. We let things stand. We took a look at this race. This horse bumped that horse. We took it. It's just the black and white. They never get into this kind of thing of, we brought the guy in to look at the movies the next day. And I think that's important because they do that to protect the integrity of the game. And so let the public know that. And as I say, I think this guy lost second place coming under the wire. When he saw he didn't have the win, he kind of gave up, stood up, gets nipped at the wire. I would love to know the stewards are paying attention. And maybe they are, but we don't know.
Yeah, you don't know. I mean, I don't know the protocol at Turf Paradise. When I watched it, that's the first time I've seen it. And it's quite possible he would have been beaten for second anyway, but you would have liked to seen him at least stay down on his horse and be riding it as vigorously at the wire as he was, 100 yards before the wire. But that being said, it is hard to know what the protocol is at Turf Paradise. Every jurisdiction is a little bit different, and whether or not the stewards thought that was enough to call this rider in and talk to him about it, possibly fine him, possibly give him days. Gee, I don't know, Seth. I don't know why they wouldn't. I mean, there's some. I mean, what is it, Australia? I think you have to. Every rider has to give an account for every single ride that they have. Do we need to go to that extreme? I don't think so, but Yeah, definitely. I mean, there's different protocols at every racetrack. You know, we watched last week. We watched that non-DQ at Tampa Bay Downs, and I made the point that it's relatively early in the meet, and boy, they set a really tough precedent there. So it's going to be very interesting to see moving forward if that type of situation where a horse basically moves a horse out several paths doesn't get taken down. We saw it a couple years ago with Gio Ponte was in a stake race there. And I forget the horse's name that Rosemary Homeister was riding, but she carried out Gio Ponte, never made contact, and they left him up. So maybe that's their protocol. It varies a little bit from jurisdiction to jurisdiction, but I certainly understand. I would have preferred to see that rider at least stay down on the horse and ride him to the wire.
Yeah, and I don't deny what you say could be correct. He may have lost second anyway.
Yeah.
But
Perception.
I would have liked to have seen it. Yeah, I would have liked to have seen him keep riding, and you're exactly right. The perception is not good because as he gets passed by the eventual winner, he's still riding, he's still whipping, and then you just kind of see the light bulb click. Oh, I'm not going to win the race, and he just lets up.
Sure,
and
so a mental lapse.
I think you can maybe make a coin flip argument that he would have held on for the exact or not held on. But yeah, it's not something you want to see, and you're exactly right. These other jurisdictions I cover for Equidaily, both in Europe and particularly in Asia and Australia, this guy'd be on the sidelines.
Oh, yeah.
They don't kid around with that. You ride through the wire, or you're sitting for a while.
One thing they might take into consideration is this a habitual thing that this rider does? And again, I don't follow Turf
And that's
Paradise,
another thing. That's another reason
know.
I'd like to see a steward's report like that, because maybe he'd come in and say, "Oh, I felt a little something, so I stopped riding." Okay, but if this is a habitual, you can't keep doing that.
No,
if there's a public steward's report, you wouldn't get away with that.
You know, Kent DeSorma, Hall of Fame jockey, he got into that habit really, really badly for several years. I remember watching him. He cost our friend Glenn DeSanto a race in Saratoga. Ended up cost DeSorma the ride. He just used to stop riding, and then I didn't think that they were as I don't think they took it as serious, bringing in Kent and making him pay fines. Or what I would have done is make him go back and cool that horse out. That's what I would have done. Make him do a little bit of work and make him appreciate the effort that everybody goes into, which I'm sure he knew. But I think he got to the stage where it just, maybe wasn't, in the forefront of his mind.
And again, I would love to see, for the public perception, the integrity of the game, see what the stewards are doing and see that they're doing something anyway.
Yes.
I mean, in situations like this, particularly at smaller tracks, you have no idea whether they even noticed.
Right.
And if they didn't, bad on them. If they did, still bad on them, because they should let us know. That's the whole point of their job. That's the whole point if they're stepping up and saying to this guy, listen, you got to ride through the wire. They're protecting the integrity of the game. Well, if you're doing that, broadcast it and let us know.
Right. There's no way of knowing that. That is an issue.
Yeah. And I've said for years, though, the internet now makes it possible that they can easily put this information out there and let all the. But I've been also saying most racetracks should put up their photo finishes. Years ago, the photo finish was this was before you had TVs all over the facilities. Well, it'd just be tacked up to a cork board somewhere, and so you can make an argument. Nobody's going to see it anyway. Who cares? Well, now you can get the photo finish in everybody's living room, and some tracks have gotten good and done that, but many tracks still don't put up the photo finishes even. And I don't think they've realized it's the 21st century. You got plenty of technology out there. You can really get the word out easily as well. And so again, I'd love to see the and. They can start to emulate Hong Kong. Speaking of Asian jurisdictions, they follow up stewards. They talk to they talk to the trainers and jockeys after some questionable performances and give that account in the stewards report, which is great, and lets the betting public know that the stewards are on top of things, and also lets the trainers and jockeys know the stewards are on top of things as well, which is equally as important. All right, we will shift our attention now to the handicapping. Jeff's going to take a look at Aqueduct a little later on. I'm going to look at Gulfstream 4 this afternoon.
I had to take the glasses off so I can read the profile here. The opener at Gulfstream Park is 6.5 furlongs. It is an allowance optional claiming event for 4 and up, which have never won a race other than maiden claiming or starter, or the claiming price is $25,000.
And I didn't have time to chart out yesterday's results, but I was at Gulfstream yesterday as well, and 3 or 4 for the 10. I think it was 4 for the 10. I called 3 plays of the day, I think. One of them came through and was 140, maybe 120, $140 exacta, but the plays made a nice profit. Took a couple of shots with some decent prices, and boy, in some of those races there were some decent prices in the ones that I was interested in, and mixed bag there. But again, we had one of the plays of the day hit for a pretty good price and made a little bit of a profit. We'll see what we can do this afternoon. In the opener, 8, 1, 7, and 3. The number 8 is Strong Humor. It is a Kirk Zaidi trainee. This one moved into the Zaidi barn last time and improved nicely. I think if that improvement holds up, and I think in the new barn, it's likely that it will. But if the improvement holds up, Strong Humor is going to be the one to beat in here. So we have number 8 on top. Number 1, Celebrator, goes out for Todd Fletcher and Stone Street. Because of those connections, this horse certainly is going to take a lot of action. Pretty solid maiden breaker in the second career start. Now, there was a long layoff. Debuted down here at Gulfstream in February of last year. Followed it up in the beginning of December. So, again, a long layoff, but certainly validated the added maturity off the layoff. And, again, a nice maiden breaker. Given that effort and the way it was done, this horse wouldn't be a shock at all to see a comeback that's a nice repeat effort of that, and this is going to put this one right up in contention. In the third spot, the number 7, Alakazam, who, you know, I usually take a wait-and-see attitude with these Brazilian or South American shippers. I'm never convinced. I think the company down there is of a lesser quality. Now, this horse did win the career debut down there and then moved into a stakes race and threw in a little bit of a dud. Those were much earlier in the 2013 season. So there's been a layoff, a shipping up here to North America, and as I say, I usually want a little validation on how, you know, what the talent level is really on these horses when they step into American company. However, I think the workouts underneath here indicate this horse is going to be the real deal. 4 bullet works down there in Florida since arriving, and I just have to think probably based on those works, this horse will be up in contention today. In the opener, I have it 8, 1, 7, and 3.
Getting Lasix for the first time, too.
Yeah.
Moving on to race number 2 at Gulfstream Park, 6 furlongs. It is a claiming event for fillies and mares 4 and up, which have never won 3 races or have not won a race since July 16th. Claiming price is $30,000.
I have it 4, 5, 7, and 2. The number 4 is Malibu Mudslide. Goes out for trainer Michael Dilger. I've been saying for, well, really since going back to Saratoga when he flashed onto the scene. I think Michael Dilger is going to be a trainer that's going to be kind of fun to watch. This horse woke up the last couple of times actually with a return to dirt. Had made a couple of starts the summer, Colonial and Saratoga on the turf. And then end of September, early October, moved back over to the dirt again, Belmont and Parks, and those dirt starts, very good with very good numbers that I think compete well with this field. So we'll put Malibu Mudslide on top. Second spot, Felixia, the number 5 horse, first off the claim for Kirk Zaidi. Plenty of early speed. Kirk Zaidi first off the claim stats according to the racing form, just about a coin flip at a mind-boggling 45%. So I think this horse with that early speed probably will have to step it up, but I think moving into the Zaidi barn, that's not going to be a shock. So Felixia in the second spot, and then we'll go out to the number 7. Yes, I'm Sweet. Had put in a nice win on this track last time out. That was only the second try over the Gulfstream strip. The first try was a year ago and wasn't much that day. So coming into the last race, you might have had a thought of, gee, was this a negative horse for a course angle? But I just think this horse over the course of 2013 became an improved animal, found the comfort zone class-wise. Now, we'll find out a little more today because last time was a sloppy sealed track. Might have been aided by that. I'm just having a feeling, though, that as I say, this is just a little bit of a better horse now than we saw last January here at Gulfstream. So the win last time over the track in December, I think, is more indicative of what we'll see today. Race number 2, 4, 5, 7, and 2.
Moving along to the third race at Gulfstream Park, over to the turf course, 5 furlongs. It is a maiden claiming event for 3-year-olds, claiming price of $50,000 down to $40,000.
5, 10, 2, and 9. The number 5 is More Than Special. Goes out for trainer Joan Scott. There was an article in Racing Form, I think, talking about how well she was doing with some of her younger stock over at Tampa. This horse did debut over at Tampa in maiden special weight company and showed a little bit of punch early in that race before fading. Adds the blinkers today, and you know what? I like the confident move over to Gulfstream. So it goes maiden special weight to maiden claiming, but moving to Gulfstream from Tampa is maybe a little bit of a venue step up. And again, I like the confidence shown there. This one also had a sibling called Special Congrat that was fourth in the career debut and then subsequently won in the next start. So maybe the dam is producing some that, hey, need a little education and then improve next time out. But it's just 12-1 on the morning line. I think more than special is going to be interesting in here today. Second spot, we'll go to the number 10, High Limit. With Limehouse on top, I find this one interesting. Had a sibling called Crafty Mark that was 10th in the career debut, but then won in start number 2. A full sibling called Limeshare, however, took 8 starts to win. So maybe some mixed results on the bottom. Trainer Jason Service does okay, but doesn't knock it out of the park. So again, I think there's some nature and nurture, but in both categories, you can make arguments maybe for or against a little bit. But it's just enough that I think High Limit is going to be maybe a little bit interesting in here today, particularly in this field. But it's a maiden claiming field, so I don't think there's any world beaters. So High Limit might be a little bit interesting, and then we'll go out to the number 2, inside to the number 2, Charlie the Boss, maiden special weight to maiden claiming, and moves from dirt to turf. I think this horse might be a little bit interesting. Street Boss on top. There's some breeding. Have some odds. I'm going to dip in lightly here. I'm going to do a win place on my top pick, number 5, and I'm going to do a 4-horse exacta box play of the day. So again, in race number 3, win place on number 5, and we'll box them up 5, 10, 2, and 9.
That's going to take us to race number 4 at Gulfstream Park. 7 furlongs. It is a claiming event for 3-year-old fillies. The claiming price is $16,000.
4, 7, 6, and 2. The number 4 is La Chuchi, who drops off the claim for Peter Walder. Rosario rides. You know, you may question the drop, and certainly it is a little suspicious. Claimed the horse beginning of December for 25, and now they come back for 16, particularly when earlier in the career this horse was racing against, I would say, significantly better. You go back, broke the maiden for 20. Other than that, this horse was racing against much better than the $16,000 level. But may just have kind of figured out this horse and properly spotting, finding the comfort zone. Blinkers today, Rosario on board. I find that interesting. And Walder, pretty good numbers first off the claim. So I'll take a shot with La Chuchi, but again, that drop is a little bit of a red flag. Number 7, Mora's Purse. This is one that is finding some class relief, and that's the angle we're hanging on here. Nice second place finish against 25 claimers last time. Moves from a 7-pound apprentice to a journeyman today, and does so with a drop from 25 to 16 in the claiming ranks. So again, I think the class relief is going to put this one in the hunt. And then Silk and Sequins, the number 6 horse, just some improving form that I think might overcome the slight class jump up. This horse won last time, a 12,500 non-winners of 2, up there for this 16 tag today. The trainer a little chilly so far at the meet with a limited sample. So again, there's some knocks against in the move up, the trainer being, as I say, a little bit chilly. But I just think this horse is in some nice improving form that could provide a platform for this horse to run well today. In the 4th, I have it 4, 7, 6, and 2.
The 5th at Gulfstream Park is 7 furlongs. It is a maiden special weight event for 3-year-olds.
7, 8, 6, and 3, and the number 7 had Jeremy Plonk on with me on Racing Across America yesterday. Jeremy puts together the Countdown to the Crown column. He put together that nice horseplayernow.com preseason annual looking at the Triple Crown. And so he's plugged into the 3-year-olds. He thought Hartford was going to be really exciting to watch on this Thursday card down here at Gulfstream Park. Hartford goes out first time for Todd Fletcher and Stone Street. This is a full sibling to Tempted to Tap It. 5th in the career debut, then put in a couple of second place finishes, won in the 4th career start, followed that up running 2nd in the 2010 Risen Star over at Fairgrounds. So I think there's a little bit of breeding punch here, certainly some punch on the nurture side of the nature-nurture equation with Pletcher and the potent Stone Street outfit. They paid $700,000 for this horse. I'll take a little shot and hope Todd Pletcher gets another nice 3-year-old on the Triple Crown Trail this afternoon. Hartford 5-2 on the morning line. I think with these connections that will likely float down a little bit. Second spot, we'll go with the other Pletcher. That other angle, the other uncoupled longer price angle, always kind of potent. Almost came through for me yesterday in the opener at Gulfstream at 7-1 with Dale Romans. I had both of Romans in the mix, but I took a shot with the longer price at 7-1, and Jeff, about the 16th hole, I thought I had it, but the logical Romans just held on, but still we had a nice little exacta there with the 2 Romans. But at the other Pletcher this afternoon at Gulfstream, again had a sibling called Star Presence that took 6 to win, but in those first 6 starts, again, obviously that win, 3 second-place finishes and a third-place finish. So I think there's nature and nurture top and bottom here on the breeding with Pletcher in this one's camp. Luis Saez on board, and I've been saying for the last few days, geez, he is riding very, very well down there. And then the number 6, Slip By for Michael Metz. This one is a sib to a horse called Palmiero. Took 4 starts to win, a 9th, a 6th-place finish, and then a 2nd and a win. So, you know, again, I say in that first 3 or 4 starts if they can get it done, but it did take a few to kind of figure it out. However, sibling to another horse that folks may be familiar with, Slew's Final Answer. That one won the career debut, and through the first 9 starts of the career, never missed an exacta. So I think there's some very, very nice breeding punch with the Michael Matz runner. 8-1 on the morning line, and Joel Rosario. That's going to push us to do yet another 4-horse exacta box. This one, take a look at the board, because the Pletcher horse Hartford is going to take a lot of money, and that may suck some life out of the value. You may want to do the 4-horse exacta box and then back up with a key with the Pletcher horse on top of the other 3. So if that one wins, you get a little more juice. This is when we take a look at the board and go from there. But these 4, I'll call a play of the day, boxing them up in an exacta. 7, 8, 6, and 3.
Another fun maiden race at Gulfstream Park. There you have it. That's picks for races 1 through 5 at Gulfstream today. We're going to take our first break. When we come back, we'll finish out today's 10-race Gulfstream Park card. So please stay tuned. You're watching the OTB TV network.
I'm Seth Merrill. Join me weekdays at 10 for Racing Across America. We'll look at important races from around the country, get insight from top handicappers and analysts, and preview the upcoming week in racing. That's Racing Across America, weekdays at 10, right here on the OTB TV network.
Here in upstate New York, no one provides bettors with more wagering options than Capital OTB. Our network of ranch and easy bet locations stretches from the mid-Hudson Valley all the way to the Canadian border and west to central New York. So whether you need to place a bet, fund your Capital Bets account, or watch the next big race, all the action is just around the corner. A full list of our branch and easy bet locations can be found online at capitalotb.com. Capital OTB, the better and most convenient choice for wagering in upstate New York.
I got it. Watch me. I got it. Hey! I got something that makes me want to shout. I got something that tells me what it's all about. I got a move that tells me what to do. If you don't, brothers and sisters, then you won't know what it's all about.
Funding your Capital OTB bet account is as easy as 1, 2, 3. 1. Easy Money. Clearly the fastest and easiest method of depositing funds into your account. Make deposits or withdrawals in just minutes. 2. Green Dot Money Pack. Gives you instant access to your funds. Green Dot Money Packs are available at thousands of retailers nationwide. And 3. MasterCard Visa. Simply click on the link from the funding page, enter your account information, and fund your account. CapitalOTBBet.com. Log on today.
Hey race fans, head down to the all-new Clubhouse Racebook. With live horse racing on more than 250 flat-screen TVs, state-of-the-art wagering terminals, and amazing Vegas-style atmosphere. The Clubhouse Racebook, 711 Central Avenue, Albany.
Welcome back to the Handicappers Report. Thank you for joining us on this snowy Thursday morning in the Capital District. If you have to be out and about, just give yourself a little extra time. Roads aren't too bad, but everybody's being safe out there, so give yourself a little bit of extra time. Before the break, Seth gave you his selections for races 1 through 5. Race number 6 at Gulfstream Park is 6 furlongs. It is a claiming event for fillies and mares 4 and up, which have never won 2 races. Claiming price is $12,500.
1, 7, 2, and 8. Paraguana on top for me. The finishing positions over the last couple of races weren't much, but I think the numbers fit, and they fit on the class drop, and that's what's going to get this horse home today. Again, I think he got some decent numbers as compared to the rest of this field. Now, wasn't doing well as far as, again, the finishing positions, but that'll be mitigated by the fact that this horse is getting some class relief. So runs back to those numbers, should fit with this particular field. Number 7, Dixie Hot Shot. Another horse that I think should fit with this particular bunch. Threw in a clunker last time, but another one getting some class relief and should rebound to some prior numbers that are good enough. This horse typically shows some early speed, and it may be a catch me if you can kind of a situation, although there are a couple others in here who might challenge early. But again, on the class relief, this may be the one to catch. Then we'll go to the number 2. Flip Flap. I think this horse is going to appreciate the return to dirt. Just before moving over to the turf last time for a little bit of a grass experiment, this horse was showing some nice improving numbers and in fact broke the maiden in the 14th career start, 2 starts back. That again, to me, signaled the light bulb had turned on. This horse is moving in the right direction. So back off the turf last time, back perhaps down price-wise to the comfort zone. 10-1 on the morning line. I think Flip Flap will contend in here. In the 6th, 1, 7, 2, and 8.
7th race at Gulfstream Park. Back to the turf course. It is 1 mile. It is a starter optional claiming event. 4 and up, which have started for a claim price of $16,000 or less between 2012 and 2014, or a claiming price of $20,000.
11, 7, 2, and 3. The number 11 is Long Hunter. Long Hunter goes out for Mike Maker and Ken and Sarah Ramsey. They shipped this one over from the fairgrounds, I'm sure, to find some turf racing, because it's been very tough to get that done down at the fairgrounds. I think this horse might be interesting on the stretch out. Has been turf sprinting and goes the mile today, but has been kind of a successful turf sprinter. That's a little bit of a specialty. But again, I find this interesting. They decided to ship over. They found this spot, and the stretch out might just be suitable for Long Hunter. So we'll take a little shot. 4-1 on the morning line. Javier Castellano on board. Potent Connections, Ramsey's Maker, Long Hunter on top. 2nd spot, the number 7, North Star. Just a horse that seems to be in some pretty good form right now. Laid off for a good portion of the early autumn. Came back early November, early December, a win and a 2nd place finish with numbers that I think are going to be very competitive with this bunch. So North Star Boy gets in the 2nd spot for me. And then the number 2, El Uno, who I just think if you look overall at this horse and the rest of the field, I think this horse could be competitive with this particular bunch. El Uno last time out was over at Tampa, a near-miss 2nd place finish as the 8-5 favorite. Again, I think this horse is a cozy fit with this particular bunch. In the 7th, 11, 7, 2, and 3.
The 8th at Gulfstream Park is 5 furlongs on the turf. It is an allowance optional claiming event for fillies and mares 4 and up.
8, 10, 5, and 2. The number 8 is Lignite. Goes out for trainer Wesley Ward. Kent DeSormo on board and gets back on turf and should fit with this company. Last time was in an off-the-turf event. Okay, 3rd that day, but I think if you look back, prior to that stake strike at Keeneland, 2 starts back, I think if you look back, the numbers fired turf sprinting are going to be very competitive with this bunch, and certainly Wesley Ward can have turf sprinters ready. Lignite on top. 2nd spot, we'll go to the other Wesley Ward. 12-1 on the morning line, and I think that's if that holds up, that would be a very, very attractive price. Again, this is the uncoupled barn mate to the top pick. This horse is likely better on turf. The past couple of starts were on dirt, but you go back to the Southern California turf starts, and again, I think this horse will show some improvement today off of the last couple with the move back to the grass. And then number 5, Magic Mesa. Showed some nice speed last time and just got caught. That was on dirt. But if you go back, this horse has won sprinting on turf before. You go back to the late spring at Penn National, a nice turf sprint, and wouldn't shock me at all. That was a dirt to turf move. So might not be a shocker at all if this went on the similar move this afternoon runs very well. So in the 8, 10, 5, and 7.
Moving along to race number 9 at Gulfstream Park. We're staying on the turf course. 1 mile and 7/16. It's an allowance optional claiming event for 4 and up.
11, 8, 3, and 10. Hawthor Sal on top for me. Goes out for Todd Pletcher. I'm just looking at this one that the distance is going to be the question mark, and there are a few in here that clearly distance will be a question mark. There's a few others that have some experience, and typically in a race like this, I'd probably tilt more to the ones that have the experience at a little bit of a distance. This one does not, Hawthor Sal, but I'm just looking overall, just seems to have the ability to maybe stalk and pounce, and you would have to think at this distance, early fractions are not going to be too much. So I think Hawthor Sal potentially could go out there and lope along on the front end. But if not, we'll sit just off of that early leader, whoever it is. And if those fractions are a little bit soft, this one could get the first jump and be very, very tough to reel in. Number 8, Tattenham in the second spot, has shown some flashes. I go back to that 91 buyer figure back at Belmont in July, near miss that day. In the last start at Aqueduct, the middle of November, the Duluth was a nice race number-wise that could signal this horse is ready to get back to that number we saw earlier this year for Bill Mott, Joel Rosario on board. And then I will go to the Maker Ramsey horse, State Flag, who again has shown some ability at a little bit of a distance. You go back a mile and a quarter turf start at Belmont earlier this year, a mile and 3/16 at Saratoga. So again, has shown some oomph going a little bit longer than is the norm. That will be the situation today. So with a little bit of distance experience, State Flag in the mix as well. In the 9th, 11, 8, 3, and 10.
The finale at Gulfstream Park, race number 10 is 1 mile on the turf. It is a maiden claiming event for 4 and up. The claiming price is $40,000 down to $35,000.
And we'll end the day with a little play of the day in here as well. I'm going to do a little win place on my top selection, the 8, and I'll box up the top 4. Looks like a fun race, but on the number 8, Ann Mott, we're getting 10-1 on the morning line. Kieran McLaughlin, Luis Saez, Shadwell. I think you have a little bit of breeding, not necessarily super breeding, but I just find this race interesting. It's a 40 claimer, no world beaters, but I think you have some connections that say this horse could be a little bit interesting in here today. And as I noted, Luis Saez is riding very well. So I'll take a little shot with Ammont. Not super confident, step in lightly, but I think the value could potentially hold up. So we'll do a win place on the number 8. We'll also box up the top 4, which will include my second selection. Wake Up and Go, 12-1 on the morning line. First time out for Michael Matz. Buy More Than Ready. I think this horse could prove to be very, very interesting first time out of the box, particularly More Than Ready on top on grass today. So at 12-1, we'll throw that one in the mix. And of those that have run, the number 4 War Classic looks interesting. Showed some nice speed last time, middle of December right here at Gulfstream Park before fading to finish 4th. That was Maiden Special Company. That speed may last a little longer today with the drop down to the Maiden Claiming Company. So we'll throw that one in, as well as number 1 Pernicious, who is also making that potent Maiden Special to Maiden Claiming move at 15-1. That could add a little value to our exacta play as well. So again, we'll end the day with another play of the day. We'll go win place on my top pick, the number 8, and we'll box up in an exacta 8, 10, 4, and 1.
And there you have it. Set selections for today's 10-race Gulfstream Park card. We're going to take another break. When we come back, I'll give you my picks for today's Aqueduct card. So please stay tuned.
This is Steve Beck. Join me Tuesday through Saturday here on OTB TV for At the Races, my Sirius XM daily news magazine of the thoroughbred industry. Handicapping, interviews, analysis, everything you could want. 6 a.m. OTB TV.
Hey, race fans, head down to the all-new Clubhouse Racebook and get in the game. With live horse racing on more than 250 flat-screen TVs, state-of-the-art wagering terminals, fantastic food and drinks, an amazing Vegas-style atmosphere with seating for nearly 900 of your closest friends. Conveniently located at 711 Central Avenue, right off Exit 5 of I-90 in Albany, the Clubhouse Racebook is the better choice.
Each morning on the OTB TV network, you get the very best in horse racing programming. Weekdays begin with the Handicappers Report, where professional handicappers share their selections and analysis of the day's racing. Followed by Racing Across America, a daily conversation with racing personalities from around the country. Saturdays include Down the Stretch, where Mark Casano speaks with the biggest names in racing. And Sunday mornings, it's Loose on the Lead, where Steve Bick and I offer news and a unique lineup of weekly guests. All here on the OTB TV network.
Wagering at CapitalOTBBet.com is as easy as 1, 2, 3. 1. CapitalBet TV, the fastest and easiest online wagering experience where you can monitor 5 different tracks simultaneously. 2. CapitalBet Express. Its straightforward program layout and interactive handicapping information lets you build your wager quickly and efficiently. And 3. CapitalBet Pro, designed especially for the professional horse player. CapitalOTBBet.com. Log on today.
Missed one of our TV shows? No worries. Now you can catch all your favorite programs online. Simply log on to CapitalOTB.com and click on the YouTube link at the bottom of the homepage. And look for our new podcast coming soon. CapitalOTB.com. Log on today.
Welcome back to the Handicappers Report. Seth Merrow and Jeff Carl in here on this Thursday morning. I just took a look at Gulfstream. We'll focus our attention now on Aqueduct for the afternoon. Their opener is a conditional claimer. $25,000 tags, non-winners of 2 lifetime the condition. These are 3-year-old fillies going 6 furlongs.
And once again, the track is listed as good and then in parentheses may change. So we'll have to see what the weather holds. But right now listed as good. In the opener, I went 3, 4, and 1. No big surprise with the top choice, number 3, Foxbow. 7-5 in the morning line. Just looks too well spotted to ignore here. Foxbow, broker maiden for $50,000, two races back. Didn't run badly in a subsequent to $50,000 starter allowance optional claiming event. That was in mid-December. David Jacobson's going to drop this horse in for $25,000. Just going to put this horse in a winning spot. We know he likes to compile those wins, so I just couldn't go past the number 3 Foxbow in the top spot. For second, I went with the number 4 Kiss Cat at 8-1. Tried to make a decent little exacta. Kiss Cat did break her maiden in her second start, which was a maiden special weight at Finger Lakes. As we all know, those are not the toughest horses in the world and probably not worth $25,000. Subsequently ran evenly in her Naira debut at that optional claiming starter allowance $25,000 level. What I like about her is the fact, number one, I'm trying to find some value to make an exacta here with Foxbow. But I liked it on December 22nd. Did throw in a really nice work, a minute and change breezing out of the gate. Haven't seen any work. Subsequently, obviously there probably is some, so maybe there's a little bit of a sneak factor there for the number 4 Kiss Cat. I'll put her in the second spot. For third, I'll go down the inside to the number 1 Positive Vibration. Speed on the rail. She finally got through and broke her maiden in her previous start. Manuel Franco was an apprentice then. He's not now. 5 pounds doesn't make a difference. Believe me, I've been there. So let's put her in the third spot after just breaking that maiden from speed on the rail. 3, 4, and 1 in the Aqueduct first race.
Race number 2, maiden special weight event for fillies and mares, 4-year-olds and up. They will go 1 mile.
Oh, and 6, 3, and 1 here. The number 6, Delissa, she had a very eventful journey in her career debut on December 27th. Was claimed that day for $35,000. I've watched this race a couple times in the last couple days. She broke very slowly from the 1 hole and then just ran up on heels for jockey Jose Ortiz. And then, he got in a little bit of trouble. He had to really kind of steady her behind heels. It wasn't his fault. That happens sometimes. Horses, especially first time out, they break slowly. They get themselves in gear, and then they just kind of take off. So he's up on heels all the way up the backstretch, kind of held in there, then moved her to the outside. She hung a little bit late. She was claimed that day by Linda Rice. Going to stretch her out today. This is a daughter of Malibu Moon of a Northwestern mare, so the distance pedigree is certainly there. Going to be getting Lasix for the very first time. You know what? I think that's, I'm encouraged by the fact that Linda wants to move this horse up to maiden special weight. So I really do think there's a lot of room for improvement off that career debut. Goes to the apprentice, her niece, Taylor Rice, who now I have that all straightened out. Thank you, Mr. Seth. And I'm going to put Delissa at a decent price on top. I think there's a lot of room for improvement there. For second, I went with the number 3, Dowager. She's also going to be getting Lasix for the very first time in her 4th career start. She's been on the shelf since March. She's coming out of the Kieran McLaughlin barn. I'm just hopeful that she's going to need a race. you know, Kieran does a very nice job with the horses coming off a layoff, but the mile can be a little bit of a demanding distance, especially a 2-turn mile. So, but I'm just hopeful she's going to need a race. Again, her best puts her in the picture. She was second in Gulfstream Park, maiden special weight, before she ended up going to the shelf. Something probably happened in her third start. So let's put her in the second spot. And for third, down to the inside to number 1, Lunar Surge. 5 starts and has never been off the board. She does have the advantageous 1 hole. I'm going to throw her in the mix, again at a short price, but I'm going to take a chance with the number 6, Delissa, on top. 6-3-1 in the Aqueduct second race.
Have a little overnight stakes race for the third at Aqueduct today. A state-bred stake with a purse of $75,000. It is the Gold and Roses for 4-year-olds and up, going 3/4 of a mile.
And it's 6-horse field, but it's a 2-horse race. 2, 6, and 4 here. Just hard to go past Palace, the top choice here. Palace had his 3-race win streak snapped in the Gravesend last time out, where Strapping Groom kind of turned the tables on him. But before that, as I said, the Son of City Zip had won 3 in a row, including defeating my second choice, number 6, Moonlit Song, in the Hudson Handicap, a few starts ago. So again, this looks like a 2-horse race. Moonlit Song is posted very nicely on the outside for Charlie Baker and Jose Ortiz. And after that defeat to Palace in the Hudson, came back, was with a very nice win in an open 2 other than, ran a very nice number, very consistent lately. So again, this looks like a 2-horse race. I'm going to give a little bit of a class edge to Palace on top. So 2 and 6. For third, I'm going to throw in the number 4, Dan's Gold, who just looking for a horse that, is coming off a win that might have a little bit of a confidence going on. And this son of Forest Danger did win his second level state-bred allowance race very, very nicely on December 18th. A nice bullet work on January 10th, showing he's still in fine form. Let's put that one in the third spot. But Seth, not a lot of places to go here with Palace in a 6-horse field. So 2, 6, and 4 in the Aqueduct third race.
Fourth race this afternoon at the Big A is a conditional claiming event. Claiming tags $20,000. Condition onwards a 2 lifetime. 4-year-olds and up, they will go 1.70 miles.
Well, at 4, 8, and 6 here, the number 4, Velvet Cap. I remember when Rick Schosberg claimed this horse for $20,000 at the beginning of the Saratoga meet. There was like a 17-way shake for this horse that was being dropped in from the Ramsey crew. And I remember the quote that Rick Schosberg said, well, maybe I got lucky, maybe I didn't. We'll have to see how this horse pans out. And so far, it hasn't quite worked out well for him. But you know what? I think that last race was a step in the right direction. They've got him down to the level where he should be at. They claimed him for 20. He's back down to that level now. And the Never Win 2 Life certainly does suit him. You know what? What I like, Seth, is like I said, that last race, they sprinted him at 16,000, Never Win 2 Life. He showed a little bit of a punch late. So back to the stretch out today. This is a son of officer of a broad brush mare. So the stretch out should be in his scope. He has run, 1 mile and a 16th before, but that was in an elevated level on the turf. So I think that just that last race was a step in the right direction, and maybe Rick Schosberg Connections get some of their money back today. At 6-1, let's put Velvet Cat into the top spot. For second, I went to the number 8, Risk Management, who's dropping down to the $20,000 level. And yeah, his best will win this race, and he does like the inner track. This is just an awful big drop for me, so it's a little bit suspicious. Obviously Linda Rice does like to put them where they can win, but this is an awful big drop. So I'm going to take a little bit of shot against Risk Management from the 8 post. As I said, if he runs this race, he certainly is the horse to beat, but maybe he's not quite as good as he was previously. So let's take a chance with Velvet Cap on top. I went 4, 8, and then for third, I went with the number 6, Summer Sands. Pretty obvious. Summer Sands was third at the 16,000, Never Win 2 Life level last time out, going 1 mile and a 16th. 16,000, Never Win 2 Life, 20,000. No real difference there. Let's put him in the third spot. 4, 8, 6 in the Aqueduct fourth race.
Fifth is a plain vanilla claimer, $12,500 tags. Fillies and mares, 4-year-olds and up. A quick 5.5 furlongs.
And 3, 6, and 2 here. I had to go with the favorite. She's Gospel. She's 4 to 5 in the morning line. And you know what? There just isn't any other speed in this race that's going to be able to go with her. She's been knocking on the door of the last 2. She's starting to look like the horse that ran really, really well last year on the inner track. Looks like she's starting to come into form. Gary Gullo reaches out to Cece Lopez. You know what Chucky's going to do. He's going to commit to the lead. And they're really, I don't think he has to make a serious really commitment here because there's nobody else that can run with this filly early. So let's put She's Gospel into the top spot. Again, no real big surprise there, but sometimes you just can't find anything to go with. And for second, I'll go with number 6, Rainforest. She's going to be exiting the same race as She's Gospel. Ran evenly that day. Maybe she won't be too far out of it today with an awful lot of pace. She maybe take first run at her. David Jacobson switches from Cornel Velasquez to the aforementioned apprentice rider Taylor Rice. So, you know what, I mean, she's going to give a heck of a lot of effort out there. Let's put her in the second spot at 5-1. For third, the number 2, Guyana Star. Raced 24 times last year. We'll see how many times she races this year. But you know what? She's kind of consistent. She should be running late, and she does run often, so you know she's fit. Let's put her in the third spot. 3, 6, and 2 in the Aqueduct fifth.
That'll take us to our last break for the hour. When we come back, we'll complete our look at Aqueduct. Stay tuned.
I'm Steve Beck.
And I'm Seth Merrill.
Together, we're loose on the lead on Capital OTB, Sundays at 10 a.m. Why should they watch, Seth?
Sit down on Sunday, have a bagel, get some great racing conversation.
Cream cheese only, no jelly. Sundays, 10 a.m., loose on the lead, Capital OTB.
Using CapitalOTBBet.com is as easy as 1, 2, 3. 1. Simply log on with your username and password from the homepage. 2. Fund your Capital OTB account through our Easy Money, Green Dot, or Visa MasterCard options. And 3. Place your bet on one of our 3 easy-to-navigate wagering platforms, Capital Bet TV, Capital Bet Express, or Capital Bet Pro. CapitalOTBBet.com. Log on today.
Here in upstate New York, no one provides bettors with more wagering options than Capital OTB. Our network of branch and easy bet locations stretches from the mid-Hudson Valley all the way to the Canadian border and west to central New York. So whether you need to place a bet, fund your Capital Bets account, or watch the next big race, all the action is just around the corner. A full list of our branch and easy bet locations can be found online at CapitalOTB.com. Capital OTB, the better and most convenient choice for wagering in upstate New York.
I got it. Watch me. I got it. Hey! I got something that makes me want to shout. I got something that tells me what it's all about. I got a move that tells me what to do. If you don't, brothers and sisters, then you won't know what it's all about.
I'm Mark Cassano. Join me Saturday mornings at 10 for Down the Stretch. We'll inform, analyze, and welcome in the biggest names in racing. So join me Saturday mornings at 10 for Down the Stretch, right here on the OTB television network.
Continuing now our look at Aqueduct for this afternoon with their 6th race, which looks like a fun little maiden special. Nice big field, should offer some value. These are 3-year-old filly maiden specials. They will go 6 furlongs.
Yeah, I agree, Seth. This is a fun race. I went 10, 1, and 6 here. The number 10, Magdalena Bay, actually was DQ'd from her debut win at Laurel Park on December 27th. And you know what? I mean, maiden special weight, obviously, at Laurel is not as tough as it is in New York. I've said that many, many times. But what I think is scary about this filly is Kieran McLaughlin. Her trainer is even better with second-time starters. So I think this filly's still going to improve. Just ran a little bit greenly down the lane, decided to bump somebody. But I think with that race under her belt, again, it was a winning effort, but taken down. Let's put Magdalena Bay into the top spot. And then I'm going to bookend it with my second choice and go down to the inside, the number 1, Hey Kiddo. Hey Kiddo, 4 career starts, 4 seconds. But you know what, Seth? They've been some tough beats. Her last 3 times, she's faced some really, really nice horses. 3 back, it was Mamduha, who won the Ruthless this past weekend. She ran against Miss Narcissist in the New York Stallion Series. We know she's a nice one. Her last start on December 21st, she finished second, a distant second, to a filly called Taurus that came in from Penn National from Todd Beatty, who looked like she could be a really, really nice horse. So yeah, she's had 4 starts in 4 seconds. The only thing I question is maybe her confidence is a little bit shaky right now, and she does have a kind of a tough post. She has the 1 hole. So again, I had to put her in the second spot. I'm sure they don't want to finish second, but I think just Magdalena Bay, Kieran McLaughlin second-time starters are very, very tough. So let's go 10-1. And then an interesting first-time starter I put in my third spot is the number 6, Williams Lucky Gray. This is a firster by Dunkirk. And just there are too many nice workouts to ignore, even though it's coming out of the Gary contested barn, who doesn't have him cranked up to win first time out. But Seth, I don't need this filly to win first time out. I just need her to be on the board. She's 15-1 in the morning line. And like I said, the workouts are just too hard to ignore. 101 and change breezing out of the gate, and then another 101 and change breezing out of the gate, 36, and then 114 for 3/4. So they've done everything they can for this filly to try to help her up first time out. She's getting Lasix right from the get-go. So at 15-1, let's throw in my mix. But there's several horses in here you could lean toward. So as you said, it's a very interesting, very fun race. I went 10-1 and 6.
Seventh today, a starter allowance at the $35,000 level. These are fillies and mares 4-year-olds and up. They'll go a mile.
I went 4, 7, and 10 here. The number 4, Violet Hour. Boy, she took to American racing and the Intertrack very, very nicely. Quite well in mid-December. Made her first start in the United States. Spent her first 3 races in Ireland. And she ran for 30,000. Never won 2 life that day. Just galloped away from the field, set the pace the whole way. Previously was trained by Christophe Clement there. Now has moved into Todd Pletcher's barn. I mean, there's two very, very, very good trainers there. And just fits this condition perfectly. You know, the condition is for fillies and mares which have started for a claim price at $35,000 or less and have never won a race at the entry-level condition. So I think she just fits it really well. She's stretching out to a mile. But you know what? She did win. She did break her maiden going a mile on the turf in Ireland. So the distance is definitely there. Elusive quality of an AP Indy mare. I'm going to put Violet Hour in there. She just seems to fit this condition quite well. For second, I went with the number 7, Royal Suspicion. Royal Suspicion got through her state bred conditions this fall, and then she had a nice attempt in Open Company on December 20th. She has nice tactical speed, so they should be able to put her in a very, very good spot and be able to hold on for a second. Again, kind of chalky there. The Violet Hours 5-2, Royal Suspicion 3-1. You know, they just look like they fit the condition very, very well and are in good form right now. For third, I went out to the number 10, No Means No, trained by Hugh McMahon, who's the leading trainer at in the Maryland circuit. And he's a former jockey I rode with Hugh back then. I remember we were both involved in a spill once where I went down, he went over the top of me. They flew him out in the helicopter because he had the wind knocked out of him. I got up and walked away with a couple broken ribs, and you know I actually drove myself home. But he's done a very, very nice job as a trainer, as I thought he would. He's a very, very good horseman, and you have to think that he's going to bring this horse up for a reason. No Means No has been stuck in an entry-level allowance races at Laurel Park after he claimed this horse for $25,000, which makes her eligible for this race, and just kind of stuck in that condition. But her best puts her in the mix. So 4, 7, and 10 in the Aqueduct 7th race.
8th race today at Aqueduct is an allowance. Non-winners have won. Other than these are fillies and mares 4-year-olds and up. 6 furlongs the trip.
I went 3, 7 with the 1 entry. The number 3, the Magic Stone, again, seemed to really like the East Coast. This one spent the better part of her career out in California. Their first 5 starts, and then was shipped eastward and trained by Rudy Rodriguez. She just cat-hopped in a maiden special weight, won by over 6 lengths as the favorite. I think this is an entry-level allowance race. At 5-1, I'm getting a little bit of value with the Daughter of Malibu Moon, trained by Rudy, that really took to the Intertrack very, very nicely. So I think the Magic Stone can keep it going and make it 2 in a row today at 5-1. For second, I went with the number 7, Aliana, who is 7-5 in the morning line. And you know, has never run a poor race in her 3-race career. Consecutive seconds at the maiden special weight. Then broke through and broke her maiden in her 3rd career start. You know, so obviously it's all theirs. Trained by Billy Mott, ridden by Manny Esquivel. So if I'm going to have to handicap the riders, I'm going to take Irad Ortiz at 5-1, the Magic Stone, over Manny Esquivel on the 7 at a much, much shorter price. For third, I went with the 1 entry, Little Rocket and Jonata. Mike Hushin entry. You know, Little Rocket started off her career very, very well, winning her first 2 starts. Jumped into stakes company and couldn't quite handle it. Had some breaks here and there. I would have liked to see just a little bit more out of her last race, where she finished 4th, got beat 3 3/4 lengths and an entry-level allowance race. It was open company. I just would like to see just a little bit more for her. I'll put her in the 3rd spot. The other part of her entry, Janata, I don't think is quite as good as Little Rocket, but also not bad. She was 3rd behind La Verdad, who's a very nice filly, I believe, is in tomorrow. So, it's an interesting entry there for Mike Hushin if he runs both of them. But I think the Magic Stone off that nice winner first time on the inner track can keep it going. 3-7-1 entry in the Aqueduct 8th race.
Say the horse cat hopped?
Cat hopped.
I never heard that term before.
I don't know if it's one of my own terms or something, but I've heard it's been, just cat hopped.
Okay, I've never heard of that. That's a new one.
Means won easily.
All right. 9th at Aqueduct this afternoon, a state-bred maiden claimer. 25 tags. They're going to go 6 furlong.
I think it's safe to say you can take out the number 8 Bally Britt, who just broke her maiden the other day. She's not eligible, or he's not eligible. Seth, I'm going to do it here. I'm going 2, 10, and 7. The number 2, Key Alley, 0 for 50 lifetime. Made about $96,000 in his career for trainer Glenn DeSanto. I think Key Alley's been beaten by every New York bred that's currently running. But you know what? Maybe today's Key Alley's day. 0 for 50 lifetime, but his last 2 races, he's been running late. He was a very close 3rd last time on January 5th. They're going to bring him right back. So you know what? Maybe he'll be 1 for 51 today. All he has to do is beat Todd Pletcher, the number 10. That's not a big deal. The number 10, Bottle of Red or White, is my second choice and your 6-5 morning line favorite. And he just missed when dropped to the $35,000 state bred level. Just going to continue his descent. This horse costs $135,000 for Mike Rapoli. Obviously, they know they're probably not going to. It's going to take a while to get their money back. Putting it in a spot where you would think he would win, but he's out on the outside. I'm going to take a chance with Key Alley in the top spot. For 3rd, I went with the number 7, DJ's Hope. DJ's Hope is 20-1 on the morning line and has never duplicated his debut effort from last year, but he is running for the lowest price he ever has. So, there's going to be some horses he'll be able to pass in here. So let's put him in the 3rd spot. 2, 10, and 7 in the Aqueduct finale.
Well, at least our neighbors will be winning if Key Alley gets it done. We'll be able to have some local rooting interest there. All right, that brings us to the end of the handicapping portion of the program. We took a look at Gulfstream and Aqueduct. There are a couple of tracks that will be on the network this afternoon and this evening. We'll kick things off with Aqueduct, move on to Laurel, Gulfstream, Fairgrounds, Oaklawn, Santa Anita, Northfield. A little later on, Penn National, Australia A, Yonkers, Meadowlands, and then Australia B. I've never seen that before. The Australias
they're split up.
Yeah, they're split up. We like that. Plenty of Australia this afternoon. Put your shrimp on the Barbie and enjoy a couple of shots of Australia.
Yeah, the Australian Open, the tennis tournament, they said it's 108 degrees there.
And there was I saw somebody
goodness.
one of the players flopped out.
Yeah.
And I've read some horse racing articles where they've moved up post times to earlier in the day to kind of beat the heat a little bit.
Boy, that's cooking.
Yeah. All right, and don't forget, pop on over to capitalotb.com to pick up the Handicappers Report link there on the right-hand side of the page. Also, capitalotbbet.com, our new wagering platform. Also, want to remind you, there is still plenty of action here at Capital OTB in the month of January. Just to give you an idea of some of the things coming up on the 18th. There will be a Showviver online handicapping contest. That should be a lot of fun. Coming up on the 20th right here at the Clubhouse Racebook. The return of boxing, and I know that has been a big hit down here. So Monday night, if you haven't been down, if you're a boxing fan, amateur boxing down here at the Clubhouse Racebook, 711 Central Avenue in Albany. January 24th, the $500 happy hour bankroll. Brian Nadeau returns. He knocked it out of the park a couple of weeks ago with a bankroll. Come on down. Randomly selected 25 people to participate. 25th, there's another online Showviver contest, and the 26th is a live syndicate bankroll. And I can believe you can go to the website and start signing up for the syndicate bankroll now. I think it goes for today, perhaps, during the next week to sign up for the 26th live syndicate bankroll. Don't forget also, bet 50, get 50. If you're a new account holder on the Capital Bets wagering account side, the first $50 you bet into the account, Capital OTB deposits another $50 in. Free money available out there for, again, new account holders signing up this month. Capital wagering accounts. All right, that's going to wrap things up for this Thursday morning for the Handicappers Report. Seth Merrill, Jeff Carl in here. Stay tuned. Up next, racing across America.
You're watching OTB TV, a service of Capital Off Track Betting.